All right, so hello, my name is Trish. I am a working makeup artist. I've been doing makeup for over 20 plus years, and I want to start doing YouTubes, and I'm gonna basically be focusing on education. I will be using products, so I will undoubtedly be reviewing products, but that's not the focus of my YouTube. It's more of teaching and showing techniques. So today I'm going to be doing my eyes. This is a series I'm calling Light versus Dark. So it is one of my favorite things I ever learned and I use the most is light versus dark with makeup. So using light to pull forward and then using darkness to recede, it actually creates a really natural effect, but then it can also make a really dramatic effect. So it's one of my favorite things, and it's actually like one of the staples of my makeup application. So I'll be doing a lot of different light versus darks, but I don't want to ramble on too much. But so today it's a very fast, easy, natural sculpted eye look. So just trying to bring out your natural features of your eyes. So I hope you enjoy. All right, so I am going to start with my light. Light, I feel like, especially because I have like a fair to medium skin tone, is a great way to start because it's something that's not going to be so dramatic against my skin, and it will still create that lift without looking too harsh or too dark. So, and I love this because it technically is like a built-in primer. So it's a long wearing liquid eyeshadow. So this one is the Nude from Danessa Myricks. This one's really good. I like it as a base for eyeshadow, and then I also do use it for like if I want to do highlights on my face or my lips. It's like a multi-purpose product. So I'm just gonna put a little bit on my palette. I can kind of show you. I always just use wax paper on like, this is actually an old mirror. Wax paper doesn't absorb, so you won't waste any product. And then I am going to use the Nikki Rose N23 brush. This one's like a flat brush. You can probably see it against this. It's very good for like detailed work because it's little. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that light cream, and I am just going to emphasize my natural eye shape. So I can see this is kind of sticking out there, so that's where I'm going to place that color. And a lot of times, because I definitely have hooded lids, I'll look down and look up, and you'll actually see right where that eyeshadow is going to hit. So that'll actually create the shape that not only goes with my eye, but also will help me, like if I end up putting like the dark, that I'm not going to put the dark in an area where it'll transfer onto my bottom lid. And then I'm just going to put like the littlest bit fading into the outer corner. So just using my finger to kind of pat the edges. And I'm pressing up and down instead of swiping, because when you swipe, you actually end up wiping away your product. So when you press it, you're actually keeping it in place. And that one went a little too high. So if I want to wipe it away, that's when you swipe. So I think I'm just going to do this eye at first, because this is actually my eye. It's like my bad eye. So now I'm going to take a little bit of that same highlight, and I'm going to just emphasize the arch under my brow. And then I'm just going to pat it. Now you can already see when we talk about light versus dark, putting the light here and light here, you can already see it's creating the contrast of dark without even putting any eyeshadow on or anything in that area. So that's why it's a really great way to kind of, if you just wanted to stop there, you could, because it helps to brighten up your eye. I am just going to pat. I have super oily eyelids, so I have to press things into my lid because otherwise they will definitely collect and create like a crease on the eye. So for my contour slash bronzer slash dark, I'm going to be using the e.l.f. bronze and contour. This one is light medium. This I really love. I ended up actually using it for my cheekbone. What the? There was something on the bottom of that. What the heel? So I'm going to use this to kind of create that structure on my crease or right under my brow bone. Same thing, I'm going to put it on my palette. Oh, that's crazy. My powder's sticking. Oops, no, it's not. Okay, that was stupid. And then I'm going to take the Angie Hot Flashy BK Beauty 504. This one's teeny tiny. I got this during the holidays. I really, really like it because it's so small. I'm a big fan of small brushes, especially if you do have smaller eyes. So I'm going to kind of make sure I work it into the brush and I don't have too much on my brush. So you can either use it on your palette. I can't lift up the palette without spilling powder, so that's why I'm not doing that. You can also use it on your hand like I am. It's just kind of annoying because you could get it on your clothes or get it in certain areas. I forgot to close my window. You can hear the Amazon. I think I'm going to close it. Okay, so now I'm taking that small brush and I am going to go like right above my lid. And I like to start while my eyes open so I can just see where it's going to land. And then I'll lean back. But like, you want to see where it's going to end up while your eyes open, because sometimes if you do it while your eyes like this, you won't actually bring it up high enough, because when you look at it, you can see it's kind of creating that contour. But then when I go like this, it looks so high up, like it's going to be too much. But because my eyes are super hooded, it's actually better to map it out with the eyes open and then deepen and blend with your eye closed. And now I'm just doing circular motions and I'm using what's left on my brush. Now there's this little spot here. It like kind of protrudes. So if I use a brush and just wiggle it, sometimes it can kind of get like splotchy and uneven. So sometimes in that little area, I'll just take my brush and instead of swiping, I'll just press. Now this is definitely a mature woman problem. Métier. Because I'm a métier woman. But even you can kind of see when you go like this, how it wrinkles. Like in those areas, sometimes it's even better to just pat. But you just have to make sure you don't have a ton on your brush when you're pressing, because pressing does create more color. So you definitely want to have like, you know, spread out at first, just to spread out your product on your brush and your skin. And then once you've done that, you can kind of go in and use the patting method to blend. But this is a really great technique, especially if you are a little métier. And then I like to always marry it up into my bronzer. And you'll see it gives the eye a little bit of a lift. So you can see how open it's making that eye look. Because this is my eye that's actually a little bit smaller than this eye. And for like as a makeup artist, most people, their eyes are a little bit different than each other. So this is the eye that ends up looking a little smaller. And as you get older, it becomes more apparent when your eyes are a little bit uneven. So this is a really great way to kind of make them a little bit more symmetrical. But that's a super easy, fast way to kind of create that light versus dark on the top lid. Now on the bottom lid, for me, I do like to round out the bottom a little bit more and then highlight the inner corner. So I'm going to take those same things that I use, the Danessa Myricks and the E.l.f. Cosmetics. And I am going to use a different brush. I am going to use more of like, actually this one's perfect. So this is the Nikki Rose N12. So this one is super teeny tiny. It's like a little bullet brush. And I'm going to take that with the Camouflage E.l.f. And I'm going to do it right when I look straight in the mirror or the camera. I think it's a little harder to do it in this because I'm looking at myself instead of the camera. I'm like, can I look in the camera and do this? So anyways, you want to do it right where your eyeball is, and you're almost like, it's almost like you're continuing the roundness of your eyeball. So I'm going to try it by looking into the camera, and we'll see if I just do it correctly, because maybe I can just do it from feel. So I'm almost envisioning like almost like a half round shape. So hopefully when I look straight, you can see it just continues with that round shape. So since I mapped it out already, I'm just going to kind of refine it in the mirror. So it's meant to kind of help to drop down your eye because the dark recedes. So when you put dark here, it's dropping your eye down and pushing it in. So it actually makes your eye look a little rounder on the bottom, which is what I prefer. I like to round out my eye on the bottom. And then sometimes you can even match it to your eye color, which I've done too, where you get a color that matches your eyeball. So then it actually makes your eyeball look a little bit bigger. It's just like a easy way to really open up the eye. Let's see if you can tell that this one looks a little bit bigger. Got a little smudge. So it looks straight in there. And you can kind of see it opens up the eye a little bit more. I'm not even seeing whether you can tell because I'm like looking in the camera, but not looking in the thing. What is it called? The image of myself. All right. And so for the inner corner, I am just going to use a light, that Danessa Myricks Nude 1 on the inside. And I'm actually going to use that same brush I used initially, the N23, Nikki Rose BK Beauty. And so my eyes are actually really close in the center here, so I'm going to open it up a bit. And then I'm going to press just so it's not so stark. I want it to be there, but I want it to be subtle. And sometimes I do extend it slightly there, just so it looks like a natural highlight that's going in. So that's the basic structure of like a natural eye, like natural sculpted eye. So you could put shimmer, you could put a little bit of a darker shadow. But this is like your base or my base for my particular eye shape, where I'm bringing out the natural highlights and then the natural contours. The only one that's not my natural contour is this one. If I was just doing like more of my natural contour, I would probably line the whole thing here so that it would look like it's sunken in all the way. But for me, I like to kind of round it out and make it look a little bit more natural just by doing that, like inside where my actual, it's not my pupil, my iris is. So it's like almost like an extension of your iris. Cool, I'm gonna do the other side and come back. And here is the simple light versus dark, natural eye look. So I definitely feel like this is very easy and achievable. Not very many products I use, so I used just a dark color for that darker kind of sculpted look around the eye, and then the light for the highlight to brighten the eye, and then only 3 brushes. So pretty simple, easy. I will list these products in the description box. You can use other products. This is just stuff that I have that I feel like makes it fast and easy. And these 2 products are long wear. So that's why I ended up using them, because I didn't have to use anything to set them. I know they're going to wear all day long. So, yeah, this is my second video for my YouTube. My goal is to be doing education. So I will be using products and trying products. I might review stuff later on, but that's not really my goal. My goal is to just teach and create skill with makeup. So I just want to thank you for coming. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me on Instagram. My Instagram is MA by Trish. I was going to say yahoo.com, but it's at Instagram. And then Trish Fonts at Facebook. So feel free to message me on Instagram. I don't do Facebook as much, but I'm going to try and start doing it a little bit more. And yeah, so I hope everyone has a good day, and goodbye and good luck.